under the contemporary matters that are happening in the procurement process, we have got emerging issues that will be outlined. That procurement sector is facing several emerging challenges, including the need for an anchor in charge of procurement in the government, regulatory challenges, and the push for sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to stress the point here that much as you look at procurement stands like it's an orphan. You may understand and appreciate that procurement does not have a supervisor in the country. It supervises itself. So as you say, a procurement officer, it doesn't have a person whom we report to. So meaning that if I'm head of procurement at company A or Ministry A, I'm the apex. Other than that, nothing remains. This means that the procurement process remains uncoordinated in this country because we don't have a person who is able to distribute. Some of you, I know you're players and you understand how Charles was playing football. Actually, I was at the center of making sure that balls are actually given to all the scorers so they can score. But this does not happen in the procurement process. So it remains as vulnerable as you can. And we're trying to look at pushing sustainability. It's very difficult to push sustainability because, as you understand, the concept of sustainability looks at doing the best today for the betterment of tomorrow. So in the absence of anchorship, sustainability becomes very difficult to be appreciated. However, one of the most pressing issues, the perception and the reality of corruption within the sector. ZIPS is dedicated to combating corruption through stringent adherence to ethical standards, continuous professional development, and fostering a culture of transparency and accountability. I would like also to emphasize that the corruption that we talk about does not sit with the procurement officer. The corruption that we talk about sits in the procurement process. So the procurement process has got so many players. Player number one is the end user. He who is going to define how to buy a camera is the first person and the first culprit. And is assumed that 2% are going to the research. And then from there now we go to another stage of corruption, where you're going to have the tenders to be floated, which is about 8%. You're going to have the evaluation process. In the evaluation process, there are sector players that are there and charged by the end user, not by procurement. Procurement is merely secretary of the procurement committee, the procurement evaluation committee, and its job is to provide guidance. It depends if it's going to be heard or not going to be heard. You cannot stop anything. That's why I said, after that, you cannot go and complain. I suppose you are not going to complain. There it sits at 18%. And when you look at the actual contraction, which is meaning at the execution of the contracts, the corruption perception index sits at 42%, 41%. So we can look at where concentration must be. It is at a point when projects are being constructed. If you are doing a road, for example, you are going to see a road which is going to be commissioned, and someone who is certified as a person to certify that particular project is going to sign off. It's going to put a signature. That signature is not a signature of a procurement officer. It's a signature of an expert. But the perception still comes out, the procurement is corrupt. It's not the procurement person is corrupt. So if corruption is existing, it's not at 100%, of course, and it's existing at 4 various stages, meaning there are players. Each player is taking a hand in the cooperation process. The role of procurement then still remains vulnerable because it's now pointing the finger. But that's not the reality. It's not purely perception. We recognize that ZIPS cannot achieve these goals alone. We call upon all stakeholders in the supply chain to uphold the highest standards of professional and integrity. It is imperative that we work together as a team, brothers and sisters, the media, to ensure that we sensitize the general membership, understand the role that procurement plays, make sure that these cameras that I see here, some of them I'm privileged that I bought them at some point. They were done through procurement. So we need to know actually what happens. And the media is called upon to sensitize the general membership on the role that procurement plays. Colleagues, breaking down silos and putting Zambia first to find lasting solutions in the supply chain, which is crucial for effective development of Mother Zambia. The need for robust procurement policy. A well-defined procurement policy is crucial for the success of these initiatives that were spoken about. Such a policy ensures consistency, transparency, and accountability in the procurement process, ultimately leading to better procurement management and realization of value for money. Colleagues, I need to emphasize that the same problem that we spoke about procurement not having a supervisor, the same problem exists at this point. That here in Zambia we do not have a procurement national policy. Now, in the absence of the procurement national policy, we have a number of challenges. And some of the challenges that come in is that the Public Procurement Act cannot be effectively implemented because the policy is able to guide the implementer, who is the procurement officer. Now, if we are operating a system without a policy, then we are running our profession, we are running our program